This would typically be a very busy time of year at the Louis Armstrong House Museum in Corona. The pandemic has shut down that cultural institutions until now. To explain it, how you can get inside. Here's Roger Clark. Good morning, Roger.
Well, Pat, yeah, Louis Armstrong's connections to Corona and Queens, very tight. He lived there for many, many years. And of course, where he lived is now a museum dedicated to his life and to jazz music. But it's closed right now. The folks there at the museum want to make sure that that spirit and legacy continues, and they did it online.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
It's one of the most iconic songs recorded by Louis Armstrong. What a wonderful world. The world Satchmo was referring to, his home on 107th Street in Corona, Queens. I'll let him explain on his own the ties he had to the neighborhood.
And they're all with their children, the grandchildren. They come back to see Uncle Satchmo and Aunt Lucille. So that's why I can say, I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know.
The house the legendary trumpeter lived in from 1943 until his death in 1971 has been a museum since 2003 and a focal point in Corona, a neighborhood hit tremendously hard by the coronavirus pandemic. The museum closing deprived the community of one of its gathering spots for music, culture, and education.
This is the time of year when normally we have Easter egg hunts. We have our big Pops to Stops concert in the spring where we bring kids from all over the community. Hundreds of school kids see live jazz in the Armstrong's garden.
Riccardi says they're already thinking of ways to get back and support Corona and surrounding communities. Meanwhile, the museum and archive owned by the city and operated by Queens College has launched an That's My Home online exhibition, which gives folks everywhere a glimpse into his life in Queens, with selections from the world's largest archive for any single jazz musician.
It's a wonderful way to keep Louis's story out there because it really is an inspirational story, and I think it's the kind of story that's really needed in these kinds of trying times.
So if you ever wondered what it sounded like when Louis Armstrong warmed up to play trumpet at home, Riccardi says they're dedicated to educating the world and especially the community Armstrong called home about his life and achievements.
And how incredible is it to hear Louis Armstrong's voice talking about Queens and how much he loved that neighborhood. No matter where he went, all around the world, he always felt great when he came home to 107th Street in Corona. And Pat, you got to think that if he was still alive, he'd be out there helping the community do whatever he could because he loved that neighborhood so, so much. Really incredible.
And thank you for starting our day with some music.
Absolutely, and you can't top Louis Armstrong. Whether you call him Louis or Louis, you can't top. That's Pop.
Thanks, Roger.